Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm pleased to speak to you this morning about the generosity of Oxford United Methodist Church. In just over the 50 years that Don and I have been members of the church, we've seen many instances of generosity. We arrived in 1973, just after the completion of the educational building, and I'm sure there were many generous pledges to get that building added. One of the most astonishing or outstanding displays of generosity happened not too long after we joined in 1973, or maybe it was 74, I'm not exactly sure. The church financial chairman stood up in front of the congregation one Sunday morning and described a need for a sum of money. I think it had something to do with the educational building. He said, me and my family will give $1,000. Then all around the church, people began to stand up and say, my family will give 500 or 100 or 50 or whatever amount they felt like they could, until the need was financed. I know of many instances when there was a need where an individual stepped forward and provided that money. Some of those things related to the upkeep of the building, such as replacement of outside doors, repair of termite damage, painting, steeple repair, kitchen needs, and renovations to the choir loft and sanctuary. An individual provided money for a new organ when we needed one. An individual provided the money to move the chapel from upstairs in the line building, where it was not being used, to the first floor of the educational building. Individuals have provided funds for various church members as a need has been identified. During the late 70s, we arranged to bring a refugee family from Laos to Oxford. Many members volunteered to give to this mission, and continued to help for many years. Individuals provided money, they provided furniture, they provided housing, a job for the father, and tutoring for the children. At that time, we had many teachers in our congregation, and those teachers helped those children learn English very quickly. When we decided to build a new fellowship hall and renovate the downstairs of the line building, a group of members were recruited and formed a plan to get the project going. And then they devised a way to pay for it. A generous gift of their time and talents. Generosity. In thinking about the missions of the church that this church has supported in just the past 50 years, and Martha and Jimmy and Carolyn, some of you may remember some of these. ACIM was one of the missions that this church was instrumental in getting that started. Habitat, another mission in our community that we participated in getting started. We have supported missionaries. Our church was supporting Sharon Floyd Revis and her husband in Zimbabwe for a period of time. We established God's Garden. We helped with the Penn Avenue mission project to prepare, distribute, and get food to those who are food insecure in our community. We've done the great turkey harvest. We've done the Hardy boxes for soldiers, the Thanksgiving turkey trot, flood buckets, and other supplies when hurricanes and disasters have hit. Generosity. The United Methodist Women and the Women of Faith have contributed generously from their own personal funds through pledges to missions around the world and in our local community. Bazaars were held during which women made crafts, collected objects, cooked foods and desserts to sell, and this supplemented the budget of the church. Generosity. Personal generosity has been exhibited each time there's been a death in our church, when the family has been provided food and visitation, a mission in which the men of the church also helped significantly. Women's groups and circles have supported residents of our state institutions, such as the folks at Murdoch and Central Hospital at Butner, and still do. Many other missions, both local and national, have been supported by our women's groups by providing health kits, school backpacks, the Christmas angel tree, and items needed by local school children have been donated to Cradle and West Oxford. Generosity. Here again, the men of the church aided in planning and helping with fundraising, such as cooking the Brunswick stews that enabled us to do those missions. The youth have been shown how generosity works when they were taken to mission projects in Tennessee and in Western North Carolina on the mountaintop experiences and the Carolina Cross Connection experiences. Adults from the church gave time from their schedules to support the youth and to provide transportation using their own vehicles. Church members have turned out en masse to support the youth fundraiser Chicken on a Mission. Now that fundraiser is supporting the literacy project. We also are helping a local motorcycle church to help support their mission projects. We have sent missions to El Salvador. Each person paid his or her own way to go to another country to help our brothers and sisters there to be able to build churches and schools. And they used their talents and skills to facilitate this. Generosity. For several years, members have volunteered at West Oxford School to help children learn to read. And the church itself shows generosity in many ways through the choir, whose members practice once a week and come every Sunday to provide music for the congregation. The bells, Sunday school teachers, church council, youth and children's leaders, and I could go on, but I think you get the picture. Generosity. And I'm sure that I've left out some things that I didn't mention. I just couldn't think of everything that had happened in the last 50 years. So, is that? To conclude, Jesus said, "Inasmuch as you have done it unto the least of these, you have done it unto me."